In this show. It's an all
good
clearance
show.
J jewelry show. So if you missed anything, you can always shop backwards with items recently on air. Stick with us. We have a one-time only price. The ring, I'm going to switch into the silver because the gold sold out. Here's an opportunity at the lowest price we've ever had it to have J sterling silver in one of the heritage textures in lots, not just one, not just two, lots of those stations. We have on the top there the crane, then we have the floral texture right below that. 6 dozen remain in the floral texture. Clearance price means we cannot reorder it. Hammered texture, 1 dozen. That's my favorite. And then the Kalahari, 2 dozen. Now they are all a 20-inch length with a 4-inch extender. So you get, and anywhere in between. So you really get a lot of wear out of this. Depending on what neckline you're wearing, you can wear it different ways. You can layer it. I layered it with the infinity necklace that we had earlier. And I just played with it because you're getting all of those different little chains. And I just played with it to get it to just the right length for my neckline. So right now,
this time of year, I was going to say, yesterday it was in the 60s. You might be wearing, you know, sort of more of a scoop neck. By the end of the week, it's going to be, you know, in the 20s here in the Philadelphia area, back to turtlenecks, right? So here you have a necklace that you can adjust for all. And I really wanted this piece to start at 20 and go longer because I feel like so many times within the J brand, we're bringing you that 16 or 18 inch with a pendant perhaps. So what do you frame it with? So this gives you the opportunity to frame those pieces, or if you just like to wear necklaces a little bit longer, we have you covered. This was designed in conjunction with the Today Special Value we had earlier this year, Terry, that wonderful elongated baguette, as I call it, bracelet with all of our different heritage textures. That was such a popular look. So many of you loved it. We have the reversible one coming up in the show, but it gave us an opportunity to really go back to the J I remembered, which was all of these beautiful textures that all told a story. I could tell the story of places around the world through my jewelry. So when we look, for example, of the hammered texture, there's that bracelet coming up. That again, we were influenced in our travels when we were, you know, at photo shoots and on travel tours to gain inspiration. The way that sunlight or in the late evening, the moonlight would just sort of shimmer across the water. And you don't have to go far. You know, you might even see that in your pool, in your backyard, right? Or a little pond when you're driving through your neighborhood. So we all know that shimmering water look, and we capture that in silver. The floral texture.
And it just sold out.
Oh, it did. And there we go. The floral
Kalahari
texture.
is last call. Let's talk about
Kalahari. That was influenced by our travels to Africa. This is how we can give you a beaded look from J. Again, we're taking these beads that we saw the Kalahari Bushmen wearing. Those beads symbolize their place within their tribe. They're in recognition of ancestors, their spiritual ancestors, their immediate family, and the idea that when you take a line and join 2 ends of the line together, it creates a circle where everyone is encompassed in community. So I love that story of the beads. That is probably the most oxidized of the textures. That hand oxidation gives it a little darkening to give you contrast to see the texture. The second most oxidized would be the floral. And originally the floral design came from our travels to Japan and the cherry blossoms, but then we realized everywhere we travel, we see flowers and we take pictures of them. Even in your garden in the spring and summertime. I was just looking through some pictures from my garden this year and I was like, gosh, it was a great year. All these beautiful things in bloom. It can recognize you as you're transitioning into a new phase of your life. You're going to be blooming in a different way, perhaps in 2025.
Oh, I like that idea.
And this is a beautiful way to sort of capture that. This version of our floral, Terry, I think looks a little bit more like a tooled leather look, like you'd see on saddles or cowboy boots in the Southwest, but still very feminine. And then finally, the crane texture, that's from our trip to Japan. Japanese culture believes that if you see the footprints of a crane in the sand, it will bring you 1,000 years of longevity and prosperity. So we interpreted that to create this woven texture, and then alternating beyond each of those elongated stations, you will have a small hammered texture cushion cut piece that gives you little square stations going around the necklace.
Well, we just lost the Kalahari, we lost the hammered. We have the crane and the floral, which we just saw. We have 4 dozen remaining in each, and then that one is completely sold out. Clearance price saves you $112. It's a $40 charge on a card to get it home. Lots of weighty sterling silver there, 20 inches long plus the 4-inch extender.